Thank you all for joining me today for our computer science certificate session brought to you by the Virtual High School. My name is Seba Khan, and I will be your guide through this webinar. We have a lot of information to cover in a short period of time, so I'll just jump right into it. Okay, so who is the Virtual High School? The Virtual High School is a nonprofit collaborative of almost 700 member schools. We were originally funded by a $7.8 million grant by the Department of Education. And under this grant, we work with a diverse group of schools and with the Concord Consortium to conduct research and develop a program of supplemental online learning. So when the grant ended after 5 years, Virtual High School formed as a nonprofit membership organization to continue our work and to extend the opportunities of online and blended learning to a variety of schools over 40 states and now 33 countries. We have over 200 courses available in our arsenal, 23 AP College Board approved courses, STEM, and definitely a ton of electives. VHS is fully accredited by Advanced Ed and the Middle States Commission on Secondary Schools. Our core courses are also approved by the NCAA. We also are accredited by the National Education Association and their guidelines for quality online education. And in fact, their guidelines were based off of the Virtual High School. So how do we measure success at VHS? So for over 10 years, VHS student scores on AP exams have surpassed the national average. We require that our students take and report back the scores to us. And as you can see here, we have 3 different courses being shown with their VHS student pass rate versus the national average. So we have AP Environmental Science, AP European History, and AP Lit. So in general, our average student pass rate for all of our courses is 89% in 2016. And specifically, the pass rate for our credit recovery is 70%. So those who participate with VHS are so pleased with our program that 97% of our members from last academic year continued their participation for the next year as well. So how do our courses actually work? So VHS courses are conducted entirely online, and they follow a weekly schedule. They're asynchronous, and students have the flexibility to access their class at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and as long as they're meeting their weekly deadlines for assignments and activities. So VHS courses are led by instructors who have successfully completed our intense online training, which is basically equivalent to a graduate level course. Our teachers are certified in the disciplines in which they teach online, and on average, the teachers have 15 years of experience. We like to run smaller classes with about 21 or so students per teacher to emphasize the student-teacher engagement and interaction and really strengthen the peer-to-peer learning in a virtual classroom. So students and teachers can interact through discussion forums. As you can see here, this is our student interface. Students can see their upcoming lessons and due dates. They can post on discussions, which is usually a requirement for their course participation. The great thing here is that they can also take quizzes and always be able to look at their grades and access their grades at any point. You can also see the teacher information is present. Any news or posts that the teacher would like to share is also on the front page, and it's a very easy to navigate interface. So each student actually completes a student orientation to set expectations for the course and to learn to navigate the learning management system. So they're not just left to figure it out, but they're given guidance through this. Additionally, students can private chat their teacher and have one-on-one communication, as well as email them directly. So it is very engaging, and there's a lot of help given from our teachers to the students. So I'm not going to get too much into the detail of how our courses work because we have so much to go over today. However, if you like more information about our courses or would like to set up a demo, feel free to contact me after the webinar today. Okay. So now that we've done some background information on VHS and how VHS works online, let's talk about some stats about computer science. So jobs. At the end of 2015, over 600,000 unfilled jobs were available in the computer science field. So there's a lot of demand. We just could not meet that demand because of the lack of knowledge and experience in the U.S. When it comes to STEM, in 2018, 51% of STEM jobs are going to be computer science related. So there's definitely growth in this field. And when it comes to educating our students about computer science, 9 out of 10 parents were surveyed to say that they definitely want courses in computer science to be offered at their schools. AP Computer Science, the test is pretty daunting, but so are the stats here. So of the test takers last year, 22% of them were female and only 13% of them were Black or Latino. So there definitely is a deficiency in women in computer science along with those of color. So what exactly is computer science? So I'm going to pull some data from 2 studies that were done by Google. The first study focuses on images of computer science and perception of computer science to students and parents, and the second is going to pull from just general trends in the state of the field. So what is computer science? So four different groups were surveyed in this Google research study: students, parents, teachers, and principals, so administration. And the good news here is that all 4 of them understood that programming and coding, as well as creating new software, was part of the computer science field. What's a little bit disturbing is the majority of all 4 of those groups also thought that creating documents on a computer and searching the internet were part of computer science, which they are not. This study goes on to talk about perceptions of the field, specifically in TV and in movies. So how do students and how do parents view the typical computer scientist as seen on TV? Majority of them in both groups saw that the computer science were either white or they were Asian. So again, a lack of diversity and definitely a lack of women in the field are being portrayed. It also goes on to show the likelihood that these students will learn about computer science and are confident in their ability and eventually move on to getting jobs in the field. So as you can see, males are light blue and female students are light gray, and there's definitely a disparity between the 2 groups throughout the study. So males are more confident in their ability to learn, their likelihood to learn about the field and eventually get a job there than female students. The sort of light at the end of the tunnel, or a little bit of an incentive here, is that regardless of gender or race, students understand that the people who work in the computer science field have good paying jobs or even high paying jobs. So that can be leveraged as sort of an incentive to get students more interested in the field. Additionally, students specifically who mentioned that they learned computer science were asked how or where did they learn this. And 73% of them mentioned that they learned it in school, which is again corroborating the fact that there is a need for computer science programs in school along with the interest. Lastly, this piece of data shows that basically parents and administrators understand the importance of having computer science offered. So they were asked whether they would like to see it offered as an elective like foreign language or as a required course like history or math. And you can see that there are high percentages thinking that it should be definitely an elective, if not a required course in school now. So now that we've gone through some of the stats very briefly, I'd be happy to share the links specifically to these studies that talk a little bit more in depth. But let's switch gears and talk about the CS for All initiative. Computer Science for All is a really awesome initiative that was created by the former President Obama and his administration to empower American students from young ages like kindergartners all the way through high school to learn computer science and become equipped with computational thinking skills that they need to not just get jobs, but to be active citizens in our technology-driven world. So it's very important to have more of an interest for students and get them along this path. The economy is shifting, and both educators and business leaders understand that computer science should be a new basic skill taught to students and one that's necessary for economic opportunities like jobs after college. So the CS for All initiative is an effort between the National Science Foundation and the Department of Education, along with a lot of other private companies, to create opportunities for students. So $4 billion was given to the Department of Education to pan out over the next 3 years to increase access to CS education. Another $120 million was given from the NSF over the next 5 years to help with implementation of that education in schools. So while this initiative is for all of our students across the U.S., there's a little bit more of a focus on women and minorities, as you can tell from the data that was shown in the 2 studies that Google did. So this is just a quote from former President Obama's State of the Union address, really emphasizing the need for hands-on computer science and math classes for job readiness in the future. So now that we've talked about this initiative and the need for computer science and some of the perceptions that students and parents and even administrators alike share about the field, what has virtual high school done to sort of, join forces and really become active and respond to the CS for All initiative? And that is right there. We've created a computer science certificate. So we have a slew of computer science related courses available for students to really help them, get a better understanding for the field itself and really have a holistic approach to the CS education. We have created the certificate in 3 separate pathways that can really be used as a foundation for any and every student. It hones in on that computational thinking that President Obama so much wanted to get students involved in, and really it's not just about coding or Java anymore. So we're going to go over some of these friendly and encouraging pathways and hopefully get more students involved in computer science. So pathway number 1. During this option, students have the responsibility of taking 3 semester-long courses. So we suggest that these students take the courses as they're written on the screen. So number 1, Scratch or video game design. So Scratch is really a free visual programming language that helps students create things like digital stories, animation, and games. Our Scratch course is actually based off of an MIT curriculum and is a really fun and friendly language that can be used from as young as kindergartners through college. It's very versatile as well. So students have the option of taking that course, or they can start with video game design. Now, video game design has a little bit more of a programming aspect, and it focuses on how to develop video games. Okay? Once they've finished the first semester-long course, students can move on to web design. So web design really introduces students to different raw materials of web content and design techniques, and eventually helps them create effective web communication. It's based off of a Wesley College curriculum, and it's really project-based. So students actually work in teams to create a multi-page website for a real-world client over the course of the semester, which is pretty cool. So they have that introduction as well. So once students have finished either Scratch or video game design and web design, then they have a choice of either Java programming, the fundamentals of Java, or CAD. Now, Java programming it's a great introduction to computer science. It's the basic Java programming language that we're used to seeing. Fundamentals of Java has a combination of science and engineering. So there's a little bit of a difference here. So the students will still work and develop the knowledge of Java. However, they'll also gain experience with how to use calculus and its application in science and engineering during that course. Students also have the choice of CAD, which is more engineering focused, and really students learn how to create 3D drawings of mechanical objects during this course. So again, this pathway is one that they take 3 semester-long courses. So there is a second option that students have to getting this computer science certificate. So there's option, what I like to call option 2A. So 2A is really starting with your AP Computer Science Principles course, which is, again, a full year. It's AP, a college accredited, and it's a great way to get an introduction to a variety of topics in the CS field. So this is for all types of students, whether students are super into computer science or someone who is just trying to navigate and figure things out and may want to take this out of interest. It incorporates AP level writing and reading as well, and it really serves as a great introduction to the other courses listed below, which is why we start off this pathway with an AP, specifically this one. So we went over some of the other courses, and once they finish the AP, they have a choice of taking 2. So they'll take either web design, Java programming, fundamentals of Java. Again, Java is like programming is really the intro to computer science A, and it's more of a engineering, science and calculus sort of mashup there. And then CAD is the 3D models. 2B now is to take 2 of the semester courses and end with computer science A. So if you can see, when it comes to the semester course listings, there are there's actually one main difference. Java programming is not an available option, and that's done purposefully. So AP Computer Science A is a more intense and more challenging AP course for students. So we believe that students should have a stronger computer science background before taking this course, which is why we put it at the end of the 2 semester-long courses. It's also why there isn't a Java programming option, because Java is so heavily done in AP Computer Science A. Taking Java programming as the semester course would be a little bit redundant here. So those are options 2A and 2B. So again, you take 2 semester courses and 1 full year AP course. So our last pathway here, students will take the 2 AP Computer Science courses available. They would start with the Computer Science Principles, which is more of an overview of different topics in computer science, and is a great introduction to the more intense Computer Science A AP course. Okay, so now that we've gone over our pathways, what we have to offer at VHS, and sort of the background to the CS for All initiative in the United States, let's talk a little bit about computer science careers. So what we've read is that while students may be interested in the computer science field, they don't really know where to go from there. All they know is that they're interested in computers or computer science. So there's a ton of different jobs, especially with the growth that's projected in 2018 alone, that are available. So we have careers that are the typical computer programmer. Java heavy. We have engineering that's incorporated in there. We have web development. Something that's really in demand right now is networking and security. So we have tons of different career pathways that students can explore after college. What I did find was this amazing website, computerscience.org/careers. Now, this website is a great tool for teachers, for administrators, and for students alike to really read through. So it goes over some of the computer science career paths that I've listed. So specific jobs within that career path, the descriptions of the jobs, the key skills needed for success. They also have data that shows the average salary, the salary depending upon where in the nation you are. They also have the frequency of jobs, how many jobs are in certain metropolitan areas. So you can compare and really become strategic on what career path to take and where, which is really important because these jobs are out there, and as I mentioned, 600,000 of them were unfilled in the U.S. At the end of 2015, which is a shame. So VHS really can help with their methodologies and teaching students that computational thinking skills that they need to prepare for the future and for getting jobs. I know that was a lot of information in a very short period of time. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them into the question section of the webinar. Feel free to write down my direct contact information if you'd like more information about VHS, if you want to discuss computer science specifically, if you want to talk about the certificate or even set up a demo for you and your staff, I'd be happy to do that as well. So now I'm going to open it up to the audience to see if you guys have any specific questions about the computer science certificate. Okay, there are no questions. Feel free to hop off, and hopefully I will be hearing from you guys soon and we continue our discussion from today. Thank you so much for joining us for our short webinar about computer science, and Again, we'll follow up. We're recording this session, so for anyone who didn't attend, they'll have the chance to see it, but I'll also be able to send out the link to the presentation itself in case you want to take a look at some of the links and studies and data further. Thank you so much.